Hey everybody, and welcome to a special episode of NFIHammer. This episode is special because it's a celebration of getting 200 subscribers on YouTube. So I'm very blown away and so thankful and feel very overwhelmed by the kindness and generosity of the Warhammer and miniature painting community. So to celebrate this, I've decided to try and paint this Canoptek Spyder, which will be one of the largest models that I've ever painted. And so to paint this one, I'm using just a few different colours that I've used before, painting my Necron army. I've got my Runelord Brass, Leadblecher, which I'm using for the silver. This is the new Rhinox hide, which is a brown colour that I picked up recently, so I was excited to use that again. And I'm just using Moot Green with an undercoat of Corax White. And then for some different green colours, I'm using this Mr. Hobby bright green colour that I picked up. And then I've also got some washes. So I've got my Nuln Oil and my Agrax Earthshade. So all in all, it's not that many different colours, but it comes together really well. So assembling the model was fairly straightforward. A lot of people have pointed out that the hobby knife that comes with the starter kit is practically useless. It might as well be a butter knife, so I'm using my new and improved one here. You can watch my video about all the things I picked up in the first 6 weeks of the hobby, if you want to check them out and see where all these supplies are coming from and how much they cost. So yeah, I actually found this was fairly easy. I think that after painting my smallest miniature I've ever painted and then painting my biggest one now, I found that the bigger ones were actually quite, easy to do. It's quite easy to tell which part is the sprue and the model. So in the interest of time, I'll just speed it up and play two videos at the same time. I'd actually recommend to beginners to actually start with the bigger models, even though that kind of seems counterintuitive, but I feel like there's a lot more wiggle room into seeing how things connect and seeing which colors belong to which sections. The brushes, it's like you don't have to do as delicate areas. I think the main resistance for it is usually the bigger models are quite expensive, so you don't want to kind of ruin it. But because I've got this Canoptek Spyder from a magazine, it only cost me $20 dues. I think if you buy this from the Warhammer Games Workshop store, it can cost you $60. So it's a big difference. I think, yeah. So, for $20, it's worth having a play around and experiment with. A lot of people have been asking for me to paint a vehicle. I don't know if this constitutes a vehicle per se, but it's definitely the closest I've gotten. So I didn't really know anything about Canoptek Spyders, so I thought I'd do a bit of research. But basically, these machines never sleep, and that any enemy that comes close enough just gets destroyed within seconds, and their flesh scoured from their bones by an array of mechanical tools that you can see on the underbelly. So yeah, I was kind of quite excited already. It looks pretty awesome, just assembled. And so you might have noticed that I glued the stand on, which I had to actually quickly pull off because I needed to prime it. And if I had primed it with the stand glued on, it would have sprayed the see-through plastic as black. So yeah, I'm just using my black spray paint here. Nothing too exciting happening here, but just trying not to put it on too heavy. But I'm not trying to miss any either. So I'm starting off with the Runelord Brass. So this is the bronze colour. The models already look cool just in black. So I think I watered down the paint here a bit too much. You can see that it's not really covering it very well. And I'm just painting the underside of the Spyder and the butt, I guess. The trunk of it. The same copper colour. So I've put a bit more paint on my brush, but now I think I've gone too far the other way and it's too thick and I'm losing some details, so It's a bit hard to strike a good balance, I find, of like watering it down enough or not enough. So yeah, I did another coat here just to kind of colour it in, I guess. And then I wasn't sure what I was doing on the underside. I just kind of winged it and just painted it the brass colour as well. This was one of the first models that I kind of just painted without kind of researching it too much beforehand of like what other people have done, and just kind of given it my own take, so apologies in advance. This is the Leadblecher, so this is the silver colour, so I'm painting all the legs except for the front two that are kind of in an open position. Again, I'm really kind of just winging it here. I'm just kind of colouring in anything that I think makes it kind of stand out. I kind of try and balance the brass and the silver. I don't like too much of one. I think a good mix between the two makes the models a little bit more interesting when you're painting it in this dynasty colour. So yeah, as I was saying, like the bigger models I feel like in a way are kind of easier because the sections are larger, so it's less difficult to paint. And because this one is so large, you know, you can turn it upside down and get underneath it, and because it's two different segments, you can paint each segment individually. So yeah, definitely recommend for beginners, you know, maybe if there is an opportunity to get a larger model and it's not super expensive, maybe that's a good starting spot. For the ones with the legs at the front, they've got two little pincers that are in the open position. What I'm doing is I'm painting the inside of those silver, and I'm leaving the outside black, which I'll paint later in a second. And again, just to speed things up, I'll show painting the top and bottom at the same time. So it looks like I'm, you know, whizzing through this and going super quick, but you can see in the top right, this is actually sped up 16 times, so every 1 minute you're watching is actually me trying for 16 minutes. With the spine here on the trunk half, I painted every second like vertebrae silver, and I just thought it made it kind of more interesting looking, because originally I was going to leave it all black, but I think having silver, black, silver, black, silver, black just kind of gives it a bit more definition. And then I'm kind of painting in the weapons section at the front silver. I had plans of leaving some of it black, but I couldn't decide which parts in the weapon I was going to leave black or not, so I just kind of did it all. So this is the new brown colour. This is my most recent paint, Rhinox Hide. And so I'm just painting the front legs and the front pincers on his underbelly, this colour. I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but it's a really dark brown. So it kind of almost looks like a bronze colour, or a really dark iron colour. So I think it looks okay. So with Corax White, this was just to paint everywhere that I was going to paint Moot Green, just so that it helps pop and stand out a little bit more. You don't need to use the Moot White. I've also stopped using Tesseract Glow because I just can't seem to use it well. It is beyond my skill level. Whereas I find the Moot Green is a lot simpler. You know, you just make it white and then you just paint over the top of it. I'm also, yeah, painting kind of the top areas here and everywhere that I'm about to put Moot Green on. So yeah, now I'm just kind of applying that. I'm getting a little bit easier with the brushes, like to not make a big mess and put paint where I don't want to put it. I still do that a lot. I'm not saying I've perfected it, but I've definitely noticed like it's less bad. I'm making less mistakes, and the mistakes are a lot smaller. So I'm just kind of colouring in everywhere. Apologies for the camera angle. I bought a new phone holder where I record all the videos on, but I've not gotten used to it yet, so my hand keeps getting in the way. And so yeah, I just kind of decided to colour like these sections in green as well. The way that my brain logics it is like it's kind of like an anti-gravity energy. So now I'm kind of venturing into custom colours. So this is my metallic blue green Mr. Hobby paint, and I'm just painting this gemstone here with it. I really love this colour. So I'm painting this weapon cartridge, I guess, and the gemstone on the belly with it, just because I feel like it's a really interesting color with a metallic kind of effect, and so I just really like it. Obviously, if you're doing this, you know, you can use whatever color you want. You could do Moot Green again. Now I'm doing the bright green, so again, you could use Moot Green if you wanted, but here I'm just filling in all the little glyphs, kind of like the alien, you know, prop circle designs, and I'm just filling it in here. I was getting a bit impatient and I was rushing through this, and I kind of made a bit of mistakes there getting it onto the actual bronze or brass. And I also did the tail as well, and then I do these little dots. So you could definitely use Moot Green for this, but I thought having two different colors of green might make it look a little bit more interesting. I don't know what you think, let me know in the comments. And then again, I have this yellow paint and I just look for an excuse to use it. So there's kind of got this drill bit, and I just decided to paint it yellow. But I've gotten the paint straight out of the pot and it came out way too thick. I didn't water it down any, so it kind of loses a lot of its shape. And then same with this Mephiston Red, you know, you can obviously do it whatever color you want, but there's got these three little tentacle kind of drill bits, and I just thought it would look a little bit more dangerous if it was red, kind of like blood, or just, you know, angry red color coming out. So I was just kind of just playing around with different colors, trying to bring some variety to the model. But if you want to play it safe, you know, you can paint it brass or you know, Leadblecher. Now it's time for the shade. So I was going to do one half shaded and one half not shaded, just to have a look and see which one I liked better. But I ended up just painting the whole thing because I was like, oh, whatever. And here I'm holding it by the gun section, and it hadn't dried yet, so my fingerprints actually got imprinted onto the model, which is not a good idea. So I did that on the bronze or brass section. Now I'm doing the Nuln Oil on the silver. I feel like this, because it's kind of got a black shade, that it looks really good on the silver, whereas the Agrax Earthshade has a brown element, and I think that looks better on the brass. So I'm just kind of colouring it in, and yeah, I'm pretty much done. So it looked like it didn't take very long, but again, this is sped up 16 times. So this is the finished product. I think it looks really impressive. I like how it's flying in the air. I did do that cryptic technomancer who's kind of flying, but this is literally flying with the see-through base. So I really liked how it looked. It's definitely the largest model I've ever done. So now I have to start thinking what I'm going to do when I hit 300 subscribers. So if you've got any suggestions on the next big project, or even just a little weekly video, just let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed it, remember to like and subscribe. It really means so much to me to have so many people following my journey in the 10 weeks that I have started this hobby. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you next week. Bye.